there, and it's not what they think. You won't go to hell until you judge yourself and think you should. Not the God I met judged me. So I was in a good mood, and I like that your show is called Life After Your Near-Death Experience. After my near-death experience, my life altered. After learning that I was my mother's 8th miscarriage in 1951, this was not my first near-death experience. This was the 6th or 8th, and it repeated the same theme. We don't die, we may sit here and have a great life, but we must make it. If we've been brainwashed to dread and worry and never see the magnificence on this planet, or I don't think it's much of a planet, I think we're on a flat Earth. It's not the flat Earth everyone thinks. We have a different system. Near-death experiences help us discover who we are. I was unsure about myself. I knew what my mother, father, and town thought, but not who I was. In the previous 26 years of talking about my near-death experience and what I've learned about God, I've realized that we have such a chance to find out who we are and find peace in ourselves. However, the 1998 near-death experience awakened me up, and I left my family. As mentioned, I practiced myself. After 26 years, it was the most magical time of my life. I'm calm after talking to several individuals. My webinars begin every third Saturday. We meet to discuss this and body and spirit energy. Now more than ever, discovering who you are through your electromagnetic field is crucial. As a teacher, I studied science. I understood we're light creatures. We have light everywhere and opportunity to learn about ourselves and our power. We have that. I don't know how to say it. There are so many more opportunities than displayed. We're just a small part of the world. The world and universe are big and everywhere. Because it's alive, it's in the grass, trees, and rocks. We perceive life through spirit's eyes, not man's. Trees, birds, and animals converse. I was an only child, so I learned how to communicate with animals before I started this when I was a little girl. My mother was like me and feared I would tell anyone. In the 60s, they didn't want people to believe this was a good idea. They believed you were insane or had a loose screw. Indeed, they'd expect you to be dedicated. My family wanted me to be committed because they thought I was wrong after my near-death experience. I told a group about that today. These things don't make us crazy. These are my lifelong sights. I've seen ghosts, but I've always been this way. My mother is now like me due to my family genealogy, not my near-death experience. She didn't want others to know she was hard to like because she thought they'd judge us. And I chuckled because she terrified me to death about not telling anyone. When I worked with people, I would tell them what I saw, scaring them. However, working with youngsters often revealed their mental processes. As mentioned, I've been like this from childhood. However, my 1998 heart attack and near-death experience helped me fully express myself. I had to practice entering and exiting my body. I've always been out of my body and can return. Because we don't die and don't have lungs when we cross over, you have a spirit, not a body. If everyone realized we have a spirit, we could meet people better. We must unite as a global population. When stripped of our flesh, we all appear the same. We've been brainwashed and segregated to think we can't get along because we speak different languages and cultures. Not true. Everything originates from the soul's heart and vibration. That's what opens the universe to a world without communication. We communicate well, but you don't have to talk or do anything. Just discussed that on my website today. I have a website and meet in small groups, and I've welcomed you and anyone else to join in and work with us because many people are waking up with near-death experiences. Since I've been talking about it for years, I'm telling folks to let go of fear. If we had no self-fear, we would accomplish better in life. We are the connectors of the universe, so if 2 or more of us knew how it works, we could turn it around and see it for what it is. So much is available to us. Nobody can see it since they're programmed to see only a little part. I hope talking to others about life after a near-death experience has opened my eyes to things I never would have thought in 1,000 years. Despite traveling the world, I've never flown. I could sit here with you in your nation and never leave mine. But given the chance, the higher awareness is about gathering on a large plane and enjoying each other without separation. My goal is no separation, when people cease being fearful of each other. My near-death experience showed me we're all one. After removing all flesh, everyone looks the same. I wish to bring peace to the globe and to individuals so they can discover their divinity like we do. If we find our light, we can transform the world. I talk about it since it's a tremendous opportunity. As mentioned, I've discussed it for 26 years. Many of us are unconscious and don't realize that a light-based being runs the universe. I'm not calling them aliens or people. I believe we're spiritual. Many people ask, have you ever seen aliens? I have not. I've met many spiritual folks, but only glimpsed their spirits. Many individuals don't grasp this since they've never discovered their true self. Self-healing means discovering your inner issues. Everything is from my near-death experience. I learned to ask those questions, go deep and find myself, to discover myself. I am, the Bible says so. Each has a lesson. Being kind, honorable, and honest to yourself is all it takes. If you lie to yourself, you won't succeed. I remember the first near-death experience because I've had two. I was 46 and worried about dying and not seeing my children. All of that was fear-based. You won't have kids. Your children won't be with you when you go over, but their spirits will. That's different from losing someone. You must be present to discover your heavenly lightness. I keep repeating it since most people don't grasp that, so I can't tell you enough. I saw that the other day while I'm dealing with people throughout the world, and that's the fundamental thing. Teach me how to be light, or teach me how to get out of my body. First, you must identify your light and practice. As mentioned, I was dealing with a group tonight who were diving deep and self-examining. All I want you to know, if anyone, I've been talking to folks worldwide for 6 months. I just want kids to know they have chances to discover who they are and be who they came here to be. Not their culture, language, skin, but their spirit. Seeing that spirit is alive within. God exists, but not as a man or a woman. It's not Jesus. This I can confirm. Jesus came back to me later, but he wasn't there. A lovely intelligence wanted to wake me up to recognize my greatness. That works, but I mostly do that. Most people nowadays ask, am I going to hell? Am I going to die fat? First, if you feel like you're in hell, you are. You can go to hell without dying. Consider the wretched, depressed people you know who do it to themselves and with that thinking. I learned from my near-death experience that what we accomplish here will equal what goes there. But it's not the same emotion. As I said, we have a tremendous chance to discover ourselves. Your subscribers can just be. They must be honest with themselves. I don't know, but being honest is all they need to find themselves. That's why they came down. They came to Earth to learn who they are, and if they've been mean to themselves, they'll have to face that. Crossing over requires seeing it. You won't view it as you do on Earth. It will be through the spirit, which is separate from our flesh. Simply put, wake up. Wake awake to the knowledge that they can change their life today, whatever they want. They should definitely view things their way. Lots of people are lost. For me, being lost means depression, resentment, and victimization. Since they made most of that, they must wake up. What do you mean I'm cancerous, everyone? Your soul did, so it woke you awake. After my near-death experience, I saw it that way. My soul was guiding numerous things to wake me up and see what had transpired in previous lifetimes. Instead of reincarnation, your soul is immortal, therefore you'll have many lives to learn from the higher awareness. This works mostly that way. To learn everything, contact me and my website, and we'll show them how to locate themselves. I learned that by myself and first by meditating following my near-death experience. I meditated 16 to 17 hours a day and stayed still. No calm in stillness. Getting still in your mind and body lets you hear a different voice. You're not always surrounded by pandemonium. I learned about near-death experiences there. The world halted. It stopped the noise. I began to see myself clearly. Thus, I understood myself well. I felt like a victim in some of my life because of domestic violence. After I realized I wasn't a victim, a lot of this had to come in to release and bring me forward, allowing me to discover my soul. You have God within your soul. Now I suppose God is God, but goodness trumps uncertainty. I think so. God is telling you you're not, so don't doubt yourself. You are light. You can serve God's greater consciousness. Practice is necessary to master it. All of my near-death experiences taught me that. Since your podcast is called Life After Life and NDE, My life began after my near-death experience because I left that illusional existence. I'm in reality. It works for me that way. Because we pass out to give others faith, not to explain that you don't die. Near-death experiences have many messages. Everyone save near-death experiencers was afraid of death during the pandemic. They didn't worry because we'd gone over and wouldn't perish, so we weren't afraid of death. Much of this world frightens people. Since near-death experiencers are honest, that's the best thing you can do. They tell different stories but agree that you don't die. The big one. I work with electromagnetic fields and can enter my body. I can shape-shift and melt it. I disappear sometimes. I fly folks in to talk to me and help them because I want everyone to know. We can transform and heal our bodies. It works. The moment you realize you can heal yourself and are in command is the most fantastic thing. I'm 72, and I was my mother's 9th miscarriage. In 2019, I was neck down paralyzed after 2 drownings, 2 strokes, and 2 heart attacks. I anxiety each one. All of them. I had a stent, but I didn't go to the hospital for my 2 strokes. I did them. I couldn't speak for over 9 months after the first stroke. People said, "What do you mean you didn't go to a doctor?" I went inside my body and taught myself how to reorganize my mind's electromagnetic field and work with the body. You're healers, so I termed it the mind-body connection. They say you can't heal that way. You must see a doctor, shaman, or yogi. You don't. Everyone can recover here if you understand yourself and learn how with my help. I know because I did it. I said, I've done this. I've healed myself several times. So sure, that's it. It's electricity. Our body has an electrical chemical border that you operate with. Work with electrochemical boundaries or electrical currents. You learn how to influence things around you and how your body feels. Everything becomes inside as you become more inside. Everything outside is your self-made illusion. If there's a conflict here, there's one there. Since you created it, you must examine everything. That's my teaching method. Many think here but feel depressed. They're not. They feel here. You must descend. Learning to breathe is part of my program. If they learn to breathe through their nostrils, slow down, get still, and don't think or babble, they'll relax and enter a lower consciousness. Although it's greater consciousness, you reduce your current consciousness on this dimension and can sense it. You sense energy in your hands. Feel it. The more people realize who they are, the more they understand the spirit within. They must enter. It's an inside job. This cannot be done outside. Outside, you can practice all your workouts. Without doing it within, you'll never understand. All can do this. Consider all your patterns. Consider the noise you're facing. People have families and jobs, but they're preoccupied with others. If they would just go into nature and sit by a tree, on the grass, or get grounded, the earth brings in electricity, and the higher consciousness or heavens bring in that, so it works together. It spirals up as you spiral up. Your decline is also accelerating. Then you grow. Expanding puts you in the universe, not a body. This is the greatest thing you can do, but it works. To truly understand it, you must experience it, not just contemplate it. That's experience. Words and knowledge won't explain it. You must feel the energy when it arrives. Yes, the more they practice, get a book on aura. I teach aura, how it looks and is around, and light around people. You can tell when people are depressed because the light is dimmer and you can see the darkness around them. You'll see unknown things. I wouldn't have known until after crossing. These are miracles because God placed the situations, not because we zapped them. Example, I was helping an ALS patient get ready. He was almost paralyzed from the neck down. If you know about ALS, you're immobilized. This rich man was angry because he had everything but health. He couldn't. Paralyzed. I was in Florida when they called. I fly around, and he heard about me, so I went to his house. He was mean at first because I told him about God and his presence. He was mad because he said, "This God didn't do this for me." So I touched my hand on him and literally took him out of his body. I didn't know he was adopted. He met his biological father when he crossed. He was dead and heard everything his father said to him. His wife joined us at the table when he emerged. We left in seconds, and she didn't even notice. We're still sitting there, but have left the body. I remember John. John asked, "Can you take me back?" Life changed. John, my last companion, died. I told him, "John, this 1111 is going to mean a lot with you." So I was in my Kentucky house when his wife called me from Florida and said, "I would like to meet you when you fly into Florida." She took me to lunch and said, John was in the process of dying. He had his son and his daughter and his wife there, and they were talking about me. He died at 11:11 that night. I told them John was smiling, which hadn't happened in a while, so they laughed. They didn't do that, I knew, but he was so calm about leaving that he could. 11:11 was exactly what I said, and they repeated my name, smiling. It was impossible for him to smile, but he did. I can tell you those things. Many stories, people showed up and learned about me. Due to my frequent flying, I've met many people who call me and say, "Did you remember when I was on the plane with you and what you said to me?" Everything I said comes back. Exactly what I said. Not like a psychic. Give them an awakening so they can change their lives. I appreciate everyone's presence.